Well, we're live.
We are.
We are. We're live.
We're
You ready?
live.
You excited about the show?
We're live. I am.
Are you ready?
I'm super excited.
Tallulah and Gilbert are here.
Yes, they are.
Well, why don't we just jump into it? Let's see how it's gonna work. Let's see how it's gonna go.
All right, let's do this thing.
All right, should be interesting. Now remember, when you get to the camera, you're gonna look right there. Look up at the Canon camera.
Okay, got it.
All right. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Viceroy of Verisimilitude, your Master of Fun and Wonder, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your Chancellor of Cheerfulness, Robert Meyer Burnett, with a new show. The first episode of our new show, and of course, Tallulah's excited about it. Gilbert and Tallulah are here tonight. They might bark. That's part of the show. But this show right now that you're about to watch is ELYSAVIEWS with Elizabeth Gwendolyn Bell. Hello, Elizabeth. This
Hi.
is your show. What do you have to say
Hello.
to the folks at home? Hang on now. Remember, let me change that camera. There, look right there. What do you have to say about?
Whoa, Gilbert.
What are we doing tonight? What is this show about?
Yeah. So, okay, Gilbert's eating your trash. Yeah. So we're watching movies and we're drinking wine and we're talking about the movies.
Now, the premise of this show is I'm showing Elizabeth a movie she's never seen before. She doesn't know anything about it. She doesn't know why I'm showing it to her, and I don't tell her anything about it except the title, and then the movie starts.
Yeah.
And of course, before we begin this discussion, I think it's time we pour our wine. And tonight, we have a very interesting drop. We've got a Pinot Noir, Bewitched. Would you like to tell anybody anything about this wine?
Well, I don't know much about it, but it's from the Russian River Valley.
Yes, and we found this, and why did we buy this wine today? It was on sale.
So, Rob chose this wine because it was a $50 wine that was half off. So we got a $50 bottle of wine for $25.
For $25. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pour a little bit for you to try, of course, and before you get started, I will let you, I have let this breathe. It's been breathing already. So why don't you tell the folks at home about this Bewitched wine?
Oh, well, I didn't know we were doing an actual wine tasting.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't just nod. We're on camera. You gotta. Yeah. How is it?
It's lovely.
It's lovely. So we should proceed.
Yes, we should.
Okay, we're gonna proceed, ladies and gentlemen, with this lovely Pinot Noir, and
Wow, that's quite a pour.
quite a pour. That's what this show's all about. Not quite ripped with Rob, but now I think, as is customary in ELYSAVIEWS, we're gonna toast to the filmmaker, and we're going to toast to his film. It could be a her, could be a him, but in this case, we have picked the 6th feature film from the Canadian master of body horror, his 1983 Videodrome. And here's to Hassan Chavez for calling it Videodrome. First of all, let's clink our glasses to Videodrome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Criterion Blu-ray of Videodrome. Now,
Yep.
Quite a drop. Now, first of all, had you ever heard of this movie before?
I heard the name. I knew nothing about it.
Nothing about it.
Nothing.
So we put it on. I didn't tell you anything about it.
No.
And about 10 minutes into the movie, what did you say to me?
I was pretty upset. I was like, what are you showing me? I hate this. Turn it off.
And what was? Do you remember what part? I mean, when you saw the Videodrome scenes, a naked woman
Yeah.
being flogged.
Yeah, the torture scenes I was not down with at all. And I thought, is this going to be another one of those snuff type stories? And I was not down for watching something like that.
But you like horror.
I do. I love horror.
So, but you don't like a certain kind of horror. Was this too extreme for
I
you?
didn't even know it was horror at that point. I just thought, oh, is this another like weird,
Like what?
like a weird snuff story? And I just don't.
You got really angry.
I got
you,
really mad.
She got really
I
angry.
Really mad.
How mad did you get?
Several times I said, turn this off. And you kept saying, no, keep watching. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. And I'm like, how could this not be what I think?
What did you think of when it got to the point where James Woods and Debbie Harry are having sex and he's piercing her ears?
Yeah. And
What
then
did you think of that?
He takes the pin and then he like licks the blood off of the pin. I was like, oh, okay, I'm done.
And she almost made me turn it off, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not what ELYSAVIEWS is about. She has to watch. And I wanted to start and be a little bit edgy. David Cronenberg, for those of you who don't know, began directing features. He began making student films back in the late 60s, but he began his feature directing career in 1975 with the movie Shivers, that was released in America as They Came From Within. Now that you know his name, I showed you Shivers a long time ago.
Yes, you did. When we first started dating.
And I recommend showing any woman Shivers. And what did you think of Shivers when you saw it?
I actually really liked Shivers.
You did?
Yeah, I really did.
And what did you remember about the creatures in Shivers? What'd you call them?
Oh, the peni.
The peni.
The peni, like going up into the apartment.
So you'd seen that, and so Cronenberg made Videodrome was his 6th feature, and 5 of those features were horror or body horror films. His 3rd feature, he actually took a foray into car racing, and he made a movie called Fast Company. He made They Came From Within, Rabid with porn star Marilyn Chambers. Then he made Fast Company. Then he made The Brood, which I had also shown you,
yes.
Of course. The Brood Scanners, that everybody seems to remember. And then, of course, in 1983, Videodrome. And this was the sort of the culmination of his body horror films that began. I mean, his films were all about how, in my mind, what Cronenberg pioneered a genre. And what does body horror mean? For those of you who don't know, with body horror, we as creatures of intellect and creatures of the spirit or the soul, our brains are encased in these fleshy cocoons that carry us around, that pump our blood, that keep us alive. But at any moment, these flesh and blood cocoons that our intellect resides in can revolt against us at any time. And that's what Cronenberg's movies repeatedly returned to. And Videodrome, now how would you describe, if somebody asks you, what's Videodrome about, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I would like to ask the same question.
Oh, you don't
Seriously,
know?
like, the story kind of doesn't even make sense. Like, why would they want to kill all of humanity? What is the point of Videodrome? I still don't get what that is.
Well, why?
And why would they want to broadcast this and take over everyone, and to what point?
Well, doesn't everybody want power? It's a little ambiguous, I'll grant you.
Yeah.
But now, let me ask you this. Of course, Videodrome is about a pirate, basically a scuzzy cable TV station. He owns his own, he runs his station, Civic TV, out of Toronto. And he's looking for something new and tough, something to entice his viewers. And he thinks that sex and murder is something that his viewers might like. And in a certain way, don't you think Videodrome has come true?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Well, I mean, how do you feel about when you have reality television and...
Totally. It's totally like reality television taking over your mind. Yeah.
Now, when the film began, you didn't like the torture. What did you think of the S&M relationship? What did you think of Debbie Harry's character, Debbie Harry from Blondie? She likes to be cut. She likes to be burned with cigarettes. She is truly into S&M. And when she watches the Videodrome broadcast, she says that she's made for that show.
Yeah.
So, Lula, you have to stop. The dogs are playing. It's
They're
part of the show.
wrestling on the couch.
So what did you think of the S&M aspects of that? Did it turn you on?
Well, I'm not into S&M, but I can see how people can be. So, I mean, if that was her thing, I totally could get that, and that she really wanted to go and experience that, the Videodrome show, as they called it. I personally am not into that.
You don't want people to burn cigarettes on your breasts?
I really don't.
Or cut you with a razor blade?
Or pierce my ears. And yeah.
None of that?
No.
Well, how'd you feel about James Woods as Max Wren? What'd you think of him in the role?
I think he was great in the role. I mean, especially at first, he was like, "What? You want me to cut you? Like what?"
Like he was looking for sex and violence, but he didn't want any part of being in this relationship.
Yeah, he had no problem watching it, but then when it came down to it, when she asked him to cut her, he was like, "Oh, really? No."
And there's a great moment where he looks at her shoulder. She says, "Why don't you cut me here?" And he sees that she's already been cut, and he says, "It looks like somebody beat me to it."
Yeah.
But he still goes through with that. So, and how did you feel about things like people are smoking all the way through this movie? Did you find that when you're watching it, did you think there was too much smoking? Now that we don't have smoking in movies, but everybody's smoking in this film.
No, I think it was appropriate for the time. I mean, all those films had smoking, and I mean, it was the 80s, early 80s, so yeah, it didn't bother me at all.
Now, all of the shows, the softcore pornography, like Samurai Dreams and Apollo and Dionysus, and all these shows that people are trying to sell Max Ren. What did you think about that? Did you ever watch softcore porn on cable?
Well, I didn't have cable growing up, so basically no.
What about as you got older?
Yeah, maybe like I found the Red Shoe Diaries or something.
Oh, that's good. Zalman King. I love Red Shoe Diaries. Don't you all?
I think I was much older when I discovered that.
So, okay, so let me ask you, when the film, when the plot, he started to hallucinate, and like you saw video cassettes breathing, and the television was alive,
Yeah.
and how did you feel about the hallucination?
I thought the hallucinations were kind of cool. I liked that aspect of the movie. Yeah, I just didn't quite get how and why.
Well, there's a character named Brian Oblivion, this television prophet who only appears on television, and he says that the cathode ray tube, meaning we don't even have CRT tubes anymore. That's what a television used to be. The cathode ray tube was the retina of the mind's eye.
Right.
That everything that you see on television became reality. What did you think of Brian Oblivion and his pontificating about what television means to the human psyche?
Yeah, I mean, he was really into television. Yeah, it was weird that he put so much importance in the TV.
Did you, when you were growing up, I mean, did the TV dominate your life? Did you have shows you watched? Did you have to
Oh yeah, I was totally addicted to television. I mean, I'd come home from school and just start watching TV until I went to bed.
What were some of the shows that you watched?
I watched everything. Anything I could watch, I would watch it.
I mean, did you like sitcoms? Did you like?
I loved it all. I loved it all. Sitcoms.
You didn't have a favorite show?
A favorite show. Well, I mean, when you're talking about the whole span of your childhood, there's so many shows that.
Well, yeah. What were some of them?
Oh, wow, I should have thought of this before.
I know, I gave you no prep time. The whole part of it, this whole show is about ambushing her.
Yeah.
And well,
I should drink some more wine, maybe then I'll remember.
Loosen up. She's very nervous. This is her first show. I talked her into this. I'm foisting this on her, so we'll see how this goes. We're only 13 minutes into an hour here.
Oh my god.
So, I mean, I know you got to wind you up. Now, when you're watching something like this, were you interested as the movie moved along? Did you get more and more interested in what was going on after you knew it wasn't about just torture and murder?
Yeah. Once he starts hallucinating, I'm like, okay, this is getting kind of interesting. Yeah, and then it changed for me, and I was surprised because I thought, how could this, become something that I want to watch? But it did.
So when did you remember when that moment came when you thought it was just about, it was you were literally yelling. You were yelling at me.
Yeah, I was so mad.
She was really so angry that I was showing her.
If this is another 8mm, I am not watching this.
Well, that's really interesting. Talk about that, because you did bring up 8mm. Of course, it's a movie that Andy Kevin Walker, who wrote Seven, wrote. What did you think of 8mm, and why did this movie remind you of that?
Well, first of all, I saw it years ago, and I have tried to forget it. I mean, it just really traumatized me. I just was very naive and had no idea that kind of stuff even existed. So when I watched it, I felt traumatized, and I never wanted to be exposed to something like that again.
And you felt that Videodrome was similar to 8mm?
Well, yeah, when they're showing like torture, they're like whipping this girl and she's, being tortured. I was like, this looks like a snuff film to me, and I'm not cool with this.
Have you ever seen Hostel?
No.
Have you seen Hostel 2?
No.
Well, okay. I'll stay away from those, at least for the time being.
Oh yeah, okay. If they're about that, then I don't want to see them.
But so like there's a scene in the movie where there's a church. Brian Oblivion has a church, the Cathode Ray Mission, where he has derelicts coming in, and he shows them television.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Like, what did that mean to you? And like bringing homeless people in off the streets so they can watch TV.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they would go more into that. I feel like maybe he was trying to like take them over and control them with his videos.
He was.
Yeah,
I think.
But they didn't show like him actually controlling the homeless people, and I wish they had gone more into that. Like, to what purpose? Like, why are you trying to take over these homeless people? I mean, I feel like if they had shown him telling them what to do, or they are like going on a mission for him or something like that. But I guess there was only so much time.
So when the effects started to happen, and I mean, obviously now the thing that dates Videodrome the most is it's all about home video. I mean, Max Wren, he doesn't even have a VHS deck. The videotapes in the movie, even though it was 83, were beta tapes. They're all beta, probably because they were smaller. They're not as cumbersome, and they look probably better on film. But when the videotape started breathing,
yeah,
like, did you buy into that, or was that too outlandish for you? Did you be like, video, come on?
No, I loved that part. I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
And what about when he's like making out and when he's caressing the television?
Yeah, the TV, and like he kind of puts his face into the television. I thought that was kind of cool.
Kind of cool. Like, did you think it was surreal? Like
yeah, totally surreal.
So, and you as a fine artist, you
yeah, I could jive with that.
Was it like a dolly painting or something? Did you feel
totally? Yeah, I feel like he was like melting into the television.
Because that's when you started to turn around on the movie.
Yeah.
Because I told you to wait. I said, just watch this, and I promise you, it's not going to be just torture.
Yeah.
And murder.
Right.
And so when you got to the hallucination part, you perked up.
Yeah, I did. I perked up.
You perked up. You weren't ready to put a boot in my face.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but why do you think that is? Why did that make you perk up? Why did suddenly? I mean,
because
you're watching.
It went from like torturing and murder as a realistic thing, like, okay, are we going down this road, to something fantastical, something, sci-fi. It became sci-fi to me, and that then I could like wrap my head around it.
But okay, explain that though. Like, it became sci-fi to you. What does that mean? Like, why did it become sci-fi to you? How did you feel that was science fiction? I agree with you.
Well, because you're going from something realistic, like they're torturing this person and they murder the person, and that it seemed very real. It was very real. And I was not okay with that. But then once it becomes fantasy, it's like, okay, this is part of a story that's not real. Like, this person isn't really being tortured. She's not really being.
But they were. I mean, when the woman, she says, one of my favorite things in Videodrome is there's another character, an older character, who's trying to sell. She sells these shows, and Max Wren asks her to find Videodrome, and she comes back to him and she says, "Don't look." It's like when Taylor is going to ride off into the forbidden zone. Dr. Zayas is like, "Don't look for a Taylor. You might not like what you find." She tells Max Wren, she's like, "Don't." She says, "Videodrome is dangerous." It's one of my favorite things in any horror movie or I mean, this is a melding of the two, but she says, "Don't look for Videodrome because it has a philosophy." Videodrome has a philosophy, and that's why it's dangerous. Did you think that it did? Like, once, because the movie does take a pretty big right turn.
It does.
Into this whole. Now, how did that work for you? Like, once he's hallucinating, but then it turns out that we don't want to spoil the whole movie for everybody.
I think we have.
No, because we haven't gotten to the end. I don't think you can't really spoil Videodrome. You can't really spoil Videodrome.
Yeah.
So as the movie moved along, there was elements of conspiracy theory that showed up, and
which was great. I love all that kind of stuff. It just wasn't clear. I wish it was a little more clear. It didn't make a lot of sense. So there were two separate factions trying to control people through video, and it was kind of this back and forth, but then it didn't really clarify, like, why are they doing this and to what end, like, what was the purpose. They
really didn't. I mean, I have to say, I hadn't watched this in a while, and it was a movie that what people don't understand is at the time you would follow these directors. So if a David Cronenberg movie came out, it was an event. Any imagination connoisseur was excited. You'd go there opening night and you'd puzzle over these movies. And this was to me a head scratcher. And watching it now, I really did feel that it's pretty ambiguous. Like, did you feel that? Did you like? Yeah. I couldn't explain it to you. Like, I couldn't tell you what is this movie about. Like, I don't definitively necessarily know. I don't think. Do you know, Gilbert? Do you know what it's about?
He does know,
what's about?
actually.
Come up? I mean, because you were there. Gilbert actually watched Videodrome.
He did.
And he gets really tense and upset if he hears any kind of...
Well, when he feels my tension, then he gets really protective, and he drapes himself over me, and he's like, "Are you okay, Mommy?"
Yeah, and he was like that when you were yelling at me.
Yeah, he was not happy that I was upset with you.
The most tense he ever was in the Game of Thrones episode, The Long Night.
Oh my goodness, yes.
He was so freaked out because we were so freaked out.
We were freaked out by the dragon and
when the White Walkers come.
Yeah.
The Battle of Winterfell.
Yeah, he was very upset.
He didn't understand. He could feel it. We weren't even saying anything. We were just like
the tension in the air, and he was like,
So now you realize that you had already seen The Brood.
Yes.
So after it was over, what did you say to me?
Yeah, because I'm like, this feels a lot like that movie, and I couldn't think of the name because I never remember names of movies or actors or anything. So I was like, Rob, what was that movie you showed me where that alien baby thing is like coming out of her stomach? Like, what is that movie? You know?
This was the first thing Elizabeth said to me when Videodrome was over. She said this.
Yeah. Which
is, of course, I think the best of Cronenberg's first 6 body horror movies before he made Dead Zone. And I think that The Brood is a devastating horror film. And it's so great because it's about what divorce can do and what the destruction of the family can do to children and spouses and all that. But you nailed it. You knew.
I knew it was the same feel. I was like, maybe the same person made this movie. I was like... Yeah, I totally.
I was very proud of her when the first thing she said was it like The Brood? You know, was it like that?
Yeah.
So, what else can you tell me about Videodrome? I mean, as far as you said you like horror.
Yes.
Would you recommend this movie to anybody?
Well, I mean, you have to like classic horror because this is definitely not like horror you would see today. And it's not the kind of horror where you get scared. I mean, there were no scary parts. I think I would call this more of a sci-fi than a horror.
You would? That's interesting. Tallulah, come here.
Yeah.
Why would you call it more sci-fi than horror?
Because, like I said, like there were no moments that I felt scared.
Well, you were angry. I mean, the movie made you angry.
It made me angry.
And I mean, isn't murder and torture horror?
Yeah, that was horrific.
But you weren't scared.
But it felt more science fiction to me. Once he starts hallucinating, it felt very science fiction.
Now, what about, I mean, as an artist, there was a lot of surrealism in here. Like the incongruous images, like living, obviously a videotape is not alive, but when you have how did you feel about making like these inanimate objects live?
I loved that part. I loved it. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, like a dolly with the melting clocks and all that. It just was very cool. Like the TV starts breathing, and then like when the gun, when his body like kind of envelops the gun and it becomes part of his hand. It
became, would you say, a handgun?
It was a handgun.
It was a handgun.
But that was kind of cool. Like watching that just turn into like this handgun. It was very strange.
One of the things about Videodrome that people might not know is that Rick Baker, Rick Baker, the legendary makeup effects artist, did the makeup effects for Videodrome. And he made Videodrome. He won the first Oscar for makeup effects in 1980 at the 82 Oscars for the 81 films for American Werewolf in London. This was after that. How did you feel about the makeup effects work? Did you? I mean, obviously there's no CGI, so it was all practical.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the makeup effects?
I thought it was great. I thought it looked really, really cool. Like when you see the gun start growing these, like, I don't know, tendrils that like go through his skin, and then the skin starts like enveloping the gun. I just thought it was like really, really well done. Very cool. Very cool.
Now, this idea that you know, the new flesh, long live the new flesh, and they're talking about, you know, the Videodrome signal will mutate your brain, and they talk about how Brian Oblivion passed away, but he thought that it was the Videodrome signal that was causing the tumor, but then the tumor was causing the hallucinations.
Right.
And this is a hey, come on. This is a common theme in again with body horror, the revolt of the body against the intellect, the mind, literally eating the mind from the inside out via a tumor. How do you feel about the whole like body horror thing? You know, Shivers, the creatures would turn you basically into these sex-crazed maniacs, and in The Brood, you had a woman externalizing her rage. Psychoplasmics, Dr. Hal Raglan, you know, when her rage manifests as she's literally growing, she's externalizing her rage and turning them into these children. How do you feel about the whole idea of body horror as a genre, and what do you think Cronenberg, do you think his message is relevant?
I love the body horror stuff. I mean, I think that's the most interesting part of his movies. Like you said, like her anger becoming this creature coming out of her. It's just really intense.
Now you've had to deal with, you know, as you've had to deal with your own scares of your own body and things that you've had to deal with. Does that resonate with you? I mean, obviously you're the mother of two. So you understand, I mean, you've given birth, you've created life.
Yeah.
Maybe having children is the ultimate example of that, because there's literally parasites living
horror.
Yeah, because parasites are living inside your body.
Totally.
Like, what was that like?
Well,
like,
I mean, I have to say my body did not live being pregnant. I was not one of those women. I was sick the entire time. My body was like, get this out of me. Both of my children were born 3 weeks early. Like, my body was not happy with having this alien inside of it.
So you could relate to the idea of body horror.
Totally.
Because you lived it.
Yes, I lived it.
And in watching these movies, you know, men, it was very, Max Wren, it was very male-centric, but we've seen, like, his Shivers is dealing with reproduction and all of that, so he doesn't shy away from the sexual impulse or the idea of gestating creatures in your bodies. Now, I asked you if you had seen David Cronenberg's The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, and when I asked you about that, when I said, had you seen The Fly, what did you say to me?
No, I have not seen The Fly.
She's not seen Cronenberg's The Fly, ladies and gentlemen. Has not seen The Fly.
I have not seen The Fly.
So you haven't seen The Fly. Now, of course, I have to show this to Elizabeth. And,
yes, I have to see that.
Yeah, so now ultimately, if you had to tell somebody, like your friend Julia loves horror movies.
Well, we kind of went into horror together.
Tell people your background. What is your background, and where did you come from? And talk about why you didn't grow up watching horror.
I grew up pretty conservative, conservative Christian. Although within the Christian faith, I think we were kind of a liberal family, but still Christian. And so I did not grow up watching any kind of horror film.
Were you curious about it?
Not when I was younger. I mean, when I was really young, my parents were watching Jaws, and they told me to go to bed, and I snuck down, and I was watching from around the corner, and I was really, really young, and it traumatized me. I was so afraid. I was really afraid, like, that Jaws was going to come out of the toilet and eat me. Like, I was that...
Come on.
Yes, I was scared. and they told me not to watch, but I did. So after that, I was like, I'm not even interested in anything scary. I don't ever want to watch anything scary.
What was the first horror movie you ever saw?
I think it was Werewolf in London. Is that what?
American Werewolf, Rick Baker, American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. So my friend and I, Julia, we were like, okay, let's start watching.
No, wait, how old were you?
This was only a few years ago.
Yeah, but tell people how old you were.
When I started watching horror?
Yeah, I mean, a few years ago. It was like 15 years ago.
No, not 15 years ago. I would say 7 years ago.
You never watched a horror movie until 7 years ago.
I probably had seen a few, but nothing like super scary, I think.
I mean, you were married for 17 years.
Yeah.
You didn't watch horror movies with your husband?
No, not really.
Well, because he was a Adventist preacher too.
Yeah.
Did he have a religious reason for not watching horror movies?
No, we just didn't. It wasn't something we were interested in.
How did horror movies jibe with your religious beliefs? Like, did you find that your upbringing... I mean, I know you became less and less conservative as you got older.
I mean, by the time I started watching horror, I was not.
So you've fallen from the faith.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, you've fallen from the faith. But yet you still don't like it when I talk about Easter being the first zombie holiday.
Yeah, because you're being rude and you're being, people believe in that, and when you do that, it's like, it's not good.
Not good.
No, you shouldn't make fun of other people's beliefs.
I wasn't making fun of other people's beliefs. I was just,
No, that's not funny. Sorry.
Okay, well, so when you started watching horror films, did you find that certain things affected you because of your belief system more than they might have otherwise?
Not really. By then, I was like ready to watch horror and all kinds of stuff. So.
Oh, you're ready to break free of the shackles of your beliefs.
Yes, actually, yes. Yeah.
And you American Werewolf was the first horror movie you watched. Are there other horror movies that really? What are some of your favorite horror movies?
Oh, I love the Insidious movies. I think they're fantastic.
You got to meet James Wan.
I did. I got to tell him about my favorite part in Insidious 2.
I know, we meet James Wan. I introduced her to James Wan at Charlie de Lauzarica's party, and she the first thing that comes out of her mouth, she doesn't talk about Insidious. She talks about Insidious. And what did you tell him? What did you tell James Wan?
Well, because there's this one scene where you hear the baby in the baby monitor, and then you hear a slap and a wail, and then the mother's running up the stairs. Like, I just absolutely, and then the door slams in her face, and it just was like, oh my God, they slapped a baby. Yeah.
And James Wan loved hearing that.
Yeah.
He really loved hearing that. I thought that was terrific. Well, listen, there are some super chats here that people have fired in. We might as well get to those. The first being Sam O'Neill sent in a super chat. Actually, two super chats. Hi Rob, words of wisdom are needed. My Fire D is having birthday drinks tonight in the city in Brisbane, and I'm not sure if I should go because of the virus. And if I bring it home, I could get my parents sick and will slightly stuff with my gym progress. What do you think I should do? What do you think he should do? You've gone.
I mean, that's a big concern. I mean, I have older parents too, and my inclination would be to be super careful.
But you're in a bar, so I mean, why don't you if you can?
Yeah,
you
I
can
mean, exactly. You're in
drink
a
hard
bar,
drinks,
and you're very close. You're standing very close to people. I mean, I don't know how far along the virus is in Brisbane, but yeah, I probably would not go personally.
See, I think you're in a bar. I think you should drink copious amounts of whiskey. It's a birthday party. Just keep, dipping your fingers in your whiskey and rubbing rubbing the hard liquor on your hand. And remember, don't drink beer, drink hard liquor, or drink hard liquor with a beer. In addition to that, I mean, there's some great. If you're in Brisbane, you're in Australia. I'm a big fan of Cooper's. So, I would drink hard liquor and booze. Booze it up. I don't know if that has anything to do with the virus, but anyway. Paul Gilmore tips $1 and says, I want to be just like you when I'm all grown up. Do you think that somebody should aspire to be me? Like, you've lived with me. We've been together now for 5 years. You've gotten to know me pretty well. Do you think anyone should possibly aspire to be like me when they get older?
Parts of you, for sure.
Which parts of that? Which parts of those?
Well, I mean, you're very knowledgeable. You know a lot about movies. You can just whip it up.
Yeah, but that doesn't pay the rent. I mean.
Well,
other than that, that's it. I know a lot about movies.
You're very talented. You're very creative. I mean, that's all wonderful stuff.
That's not very personal, though.
What?
Like, in terms of personal, like, do you think that am I a good person? Should Paul be
definitely. Like, you're one of the nicest guys I know. Absolutely.
Do you know a lot of guys?
I mean, I'm not young, so.
Oh, that's true. You look good though.
Thank
Come on.
You. Yeah.
Movie Fanobi, Steve. Movie Fanobi. I did not know your name was Steve. Steve is a longtime watcher of this. Mm-hmm. Hey Rob, great seeing you in Irwin today in the public match. Now no one can complain that you never showed up. Love you, man. Get Videodrome on Robservations. She's in LA 3 weeks. Keep up the great work. I love Videodrome. Thank you for that. What Movie Fanobi is talking about is, of course, my team, the Burning Droogs, are doing well in the movie Trivia Schmodown. Ethan Irwin, big time Ethan Irwin. That was his first match as a Burning Droog, and he emerged victorious against Jeff Snyder. So thank you for that, Movie Fanobi. We will continue to go on. Paul Gilmore sends in another tip and says, my parents were married on Friday the 13th. I was born years later, and they've been married for 55 years. Wow. It's just like in When Harry Met Sally. 55 years later, we still married. Yes. So, well, good on your parents. Tell them, ask them what their first horror movie they ever saw was. Good things do happen on Friday the 13th, says Paul. It is Friday the 13th tonight.
That is true.
It's true. Wow. So, Garen Gillum sends in a tip and says, Rob, it just so happens I watched Videodrome the other day. I didn't consider for 1 second asking my wife to watch it.
Good for you.
After 14 years together, she is way past pretending to like some of the movies I like. Well, now, you don't pretend. I don't pretend.
I tell him straight up. Tell him straight up. I hate this movie. This is awful. Or I love this movie. Or,
Well, we'll save that for another day. But
what?
Well, I'm not.
Body melt?
Oh, you got. Okay.
Body melt.
Okay, since we're talking about this. So there's an Australian exploitation movie from the 80s that I never saw, maybe early 90s, called Body Melt. And it was released, by the way, Vinegar Syndrome has released a beautiful Blu-ray of this movie. I'd never seen Body Melt. I had it on a Vanguard DVD. I was able to finally acquire it. And I went to her house. We were not living together yet. I went to her apartment in Los Feliz, and I'm like, hey, honey, I got Body Melt on DVD. And I was so excited to watch it, and I made her watch it with me. Yes. Now, what was your impressions of Body Melt?
Oh, my God, Body Melt.
What'd you think?
I was sitting there like, why is he showing me this movie? This is the weirdest movie ever. Like, wow. This is what you show a girl when you're first dating?
Look, man, I was trying to share my enthusiasm for a movie I hadn't seen. I was choosing to share it with you.
I don't think we watched the whole thing.
I mean,
did we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
we did watch the whole thing because I hadn't seen it yet. But by the way,
interesting movie.
It was a DVD that was actually ripped off. It was officially released, but it only existed. It was clearly a dupe of a VHS tape. But then Vinegar Syndrome, God love Vinegar Syndrome. They're a very small boutique label, but they do good work. They released an unbelievable version of Slava Sukerman's Liquid Sky, which you should get if you haven't seen it. Get it sight unseen. And they did an unbelievable Body Melt Blu-ray. So when I made you watch Body Melt, did you have second thoughts about me?
It became a joke. It was like now every time I when we're joking around, I bring up Body Melt. Like, yeah.
It's as an insult that I made you watch Body Melt.
Yeah, so it's become special to us.
It has become special to us, and I have the Body Melt disc on display prominently.
Yes.
Gilbert has there we go, buddy. Okay, so let's see. Anonymous sent in a tip and said, and just what about the Sound of Music, you two?
Oh my God, Sound of Music.
Turnabout is fair play and all.
Yeah.
Cronenberg,
Thank you for bringing that up.
Why don't you explain this Sound of Music situation?
Yeah, this is very frustrating. So I just cannot get Rob to watch Sound of Music. He has never seen the Sound of Music. And 2 years ago, Sophie, my daughter, bought the 50th, I think it was the 50th anniversary Blu-ray of Sound of Music for Christmas, and I put it in one night and he was totally making fun of it, and I got so mad that I turned it off, and I have to like, you just don't deserve to watch this right now. So, but since then I've not been able to get him to actually sit down and watch the movie. So if any of you can convince him, like, I feel like he really needs to see The Sound of Music.
It's certainly a blind spot. And I know it's directed by Robert Wise.
It's so good.
Academy Award-winning film. I mean, I should watch it.
And we love musicals, so I really don't
We do love musicals. We watch La La Land many times. We love Amelie.
Yeah.
What are our favorite movies together?
Amelie, for sure.
Amelie is, we bonded over Amelie. We met online because of Amelie. 96% match on OkCupid.
Yes.
Because of Amelie.
Because of Amelie.
You know. Captain Confidence Entertainment sends in a super chat and says he wants to see a horror movie where God faith saves the day. Well, Final Conflict, Omen 3, Jesus comes back at the end and saves the day. Pretty much. So there are movies where I don't know what Gilbert is doing. Something terrible. But I would say the first thing that comes to mind is the Final Conflict, Omen 3, they do save the day. God does save the day. Well, so let me ask you this. So, had you ever dated anyone? Have you ever been with anybody that was so into movies? Because you do love movies.
I love movies. No, actually, you were my first, movie guy.
Movie guy.
Well, I mean,
I'm your first movie guy.
Intensely movie guy. Yeah, so it's been wonderful. I mean, your collection of movies is very extensive. It is fun to go through and watch things that I've never even heard of. When we first started dating, you used to curate and say, okay, tonight you need to see this.
Oh, that's right. I did. I would bring over stacks of movies to your house.
Yeah, it was great. And I learned a lot. I mean, and we watched a bunch of, classic things and newer things. And I ate it all up. I loved it.
Which is good. Claude Hibbert sent in a super chat and said, Rob, I'm watching with the wife. The Sound of Music is amazing.
Yes, tell him.
Look, no doubt. I mean, it's a classic Academy Award-winning movie directed by the man Robert Wise, who directed The Andromeda Strain.
Maybe that's my goal this year, is to make you actually watch it respectfully and like it.
Well, I probably will like it. I mean, I'm sure it's just I've just never watched it. I've never watched the film. So when I asked you to do this show. This is the first this pilot episode. Maybe there won't be another one. Who knows? How do you feel about doing this now?
This is fun. Are you guys having fun?
I mean, you're loosening up.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. This is quite a nice bottle.
This is actually really good.
It's really good. This is really good wine.
Very good wine.
I'm gonna pour myself a little bit more. This will be the end of it.
Oh, well, give me a little more.
Oh, I like that. Okay, there you go.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll kill that bottle. There's the
there it goes.
There it goes. Okay, so by the way, what we're drinking tonight is Bewitched Pinot Noir. Actually, hang on. Let me go back to the so people can see this. By the way, this show is not in any way sponsored by Bewitched Pinot Noir.
Yeah, but it's really, really good.
It's really, really good. Russian River Valley. I would recommend this. This is a fine bottle of wine.
Yeah, it's very good.
And we got this at Vaughn's. It was $25 off. So if you go to the Vaughn's here on Sierra Madre.
Yes.
On Sierra Madre in Pasadena.
I'm sure all the Vaughn's have it on sale.
They might have it on sale. They don't have any toilet paper, but they have this fine drop for you.
Yes.
So, Now back to the idea of horror films, and you haven't seen The Fly, you haven't seen. I gave her daughter, Zoe, a framed one sheet I had for the movie Crash, Cronenberg's film Crash. Now, how do you feel? You've never seen Crash?
No, but then when you explain to me what it is, I don't ever want Zoe to see that movie.
She's
Even
19.
Though the poster is
19.
hanging in her room. No.
Well, what's really great is Crash has been restored in 4K, and it's available on Amazon Germany. It's first place it'll be out, and I do have it on pre-order. So I look forward to having Girls' Night In, where I'm going to show Crash to you and Zoe at the same time.
No, I think I should see it first before
No.
Zoe.
That'll. She's 19 years old.
Yeah, I know she's 19, but she's still my daughter. Yeah.
You think I'm going to do anything to hurt your daughter?
Well, no, I wouldn't. I didn't.
We
say
all
you were
live
gonna-
together.
I didn't say you would hurt her, but like from what you've explained, this movie is about. I don't think
She has the one sheet hanging in her room.
Yeah,
It's been
she
there for like
does.
2 years.
Okay.
She's had many friends and boys in that room.
Okay.
So I think that they should be able to watch it.
We'll see. I want to preview it first.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of do. I'm her mom.
Come on,
Always
man.
her mom.
She's an
forever her
adult.
mom.
She's over 18.
Yeah, she's 18.
She's over 18.
She's still a child. She's 18.
Well, so getting back to Videodrome, like, what do you think the movie? What does it leave you with? Like, what is your takeaway from the film? Like, you've had an all day to contemplate it. You knew we were going to be on this show, and
Yeah.
what are you looking back over the experience of watching? Of course, the Criterion Blu-ray of David Cronenberg's Videodrome. By the way, Criterion knocked it out of the park with this. It's quite. And by the way, can I just say, when you take out the disc, it looks like a beta cassette, and it's not a VHS cassette. It's beta. It's a little elongated, but long live the new flesh. Kudos to Criterion.
It'd be great if it started breathing and stuff. And
Yeah.
things were like-
Well, that's good. It's great if it start breathing. You're absolutely right about that. So, if you're still buying physical media and you haven't yet acquired this at the next Barnes & Noble sale, I highly recommend Videodrome.
Yeah, okay, Rob, but let me ask you, how many versions of this do you have?
Okay, you got to go there?
Yeah, I gotta go there.
I only have one. That's the only one I have.
What?
I only have one. So why
Okay,
don't
guys, everybody, Rob has like multiple versions of the same film. Okay. So, like,
which you always...
I'm surprised he only has one of these because normally it's about 4. The average is 4 versions of every movie.
That isn't true.
That's why his collection is so huge.
That isn't true. I have 4 versions of just a few movies, like To Live and Die in L.A.
What was the movie today you were telling me you were going to get, again, another version of it?
Oh, okay.
Okay, that one you probably have 10 versions
Okay, you want to go there? Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah.
I told you, Second Sights, they announced that Dawn of the Dead is dropping. Pre-orders
Okay,
begin March
how
20
many people think that 10 versions of one movie is a little too much?
Not when it comes to George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. I have a fetishistic attachment to this movie and owning
Yeah, but
it.
when's the last time you watched it?
Well, the last time I watched it...
Probably
didn't you
when
go
you
and see
showed
it?
me.
Yeah, but no. I'll tell you when the last time I watched Dawn of the Dead was. I watched the 4K version with Bill Hunt at his house on his giant home theater screen to look at how the 4K version looked. And when the
But did you watch the whole thing?
No, we didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay.
I've seen the movie 100 times. So I want to see what the transfer looked like.
So, okay, if you've seen it 100 times, why do you need like 10 versions of it?
Because you got to get the best version, and each version's different. I mean, there's something about...
Okay, so you own the best version, but you've never
No, the best version has
watched-
never come out yet, and that's what Second Sight, the UK video company Second Sight, like here,
Okay, but you're going to get the best version. Are you going to watch it?
yeah, I'm gonna watch it, and I can't wait to
Are you
get
going
it.
to watch it all the way through?
I'm gonna watch it all the way through. Because what are you talking about? I mean, why you gotta be
I
that
don't
way?
know, guys.
Come on, man.
I don't know.
Well, yes, I'm gonna watch all the way through. I've seen Dawn of the Dead. It was the first bootleg. By the way, Dawn of the Dead, for those of you keeping score, was the very first bootleg video cassette I ever owned. Before it was released on Thorn EMI Home Video, which is the first VHS release of Dawn of the Dead, these guys that gave me my first job, Bud Warner and Steve Pitcher. Bud Warner he showed me I Drink Your Blood. He showed me Texas Chainsaw. He showed me all these things. While Simon Gilmore sends in a super chat and says, "You guys are just like my parents."
Oh, shit.
I love it.
Well, thanks, Simon.
Wow, Simon's a good man. Good guy. Your parents are rad. Say.
They must be.
Give him a big happy hi and hello.
We're like his parents.
We're like his parents. Wow. I'm glad, because if you had friends over, I'd be like, "Hey, you guys want to watch Videodrome?"
You want to watch Sound of Music?
No. How about Crash? Why don't we watch Crash? Why don't we all gather together? Let's watch a Serbian film. You're Serbian. You're half Serbian.
Oh, okay, don't bring that up, please.
Okay, not a Serbian film, but let's talk about your background.
Yes.
Hey. Wait, Vesna's probably not watching this, but
Aww.
this, ladies and gentlemen, is my favorite Yugoslavian movie. It's in Serbo-Croatian. And yes, by the way, this is a VHS tape. I do have this on Laserdisc as well and DVD. If you've not seen this movie, Josip, Vesna, I'm telling you, hey Baba Reba, I love this film.
I'm sure they've seen it.
This is, it's not called Hey Baba Reba in, I love this movie, but it is in Serbo-Croatian with English subtitles, just so you know.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's really, really good. So tell people about your background. You're of mixed nationalities.
Yes, so both my parents immigrated together to this country. My mother's French, and my father is Serbian, or was Serbian.
So Serbian French, and are they movie lovers? Your mom's kind of a movie lover.
Both my parents loved movies. My dad absolutely loved movies, and he even directed plays and things like that. Like he really loved that.
The Echo Base Network. By the way, if you guys, Echo Base Network is somebody who's they've been very supportive. They did a documentary on the on the sequel trilogy, the response to Disney's Star Wars sequel trilogy. They just passed 100,000 views. I wasn't able to go on their 100,000 views party, but the Echo Base Network is great. They send in a super chat and they say, "Robert Meyer Burnett, you let girls in your garage?"
Yeah, because we have cooties.
No, I do let girls in my garage. I got a couch. Right there.
Oh, what are you implying?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, you know, you're like you're like the only girl that comes in here regularly. It's not like.
Oh, because you have girls come in here that are not regularly?
Well, no, Tallulah. Tallulah, and Tallulah is here. Tallulah, come here. The only girl that comes in here is this bitch.
Aww,
right?
She's a sweetie.
This is Tallulah. She is half Irish setter and half doodle.
Poodle.
Oh, I said half doodle?
Yeah.
Half poodle.
She's full doodle.
She's full doodle, but she's half Irish setter and half poodle.
Yeah.
Aren't you? Here, give me a kiss,
Oh,
baby.
Gilbert's jealous.
Oh, yes.
Hi,
Look at that. Oh, yes. She loves to lick my face.
Oh, she's a sweetheart.
I was born. It's like Chevy Chase and Caddyshack. I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first. That is a deep cut. So, Ben Rayner sends in a super chat and said, "Loved the Schmodown match today, R&B. You know why you did? Because the Burning Droogs won. A lot of people counted me out as far as the Schmodown is concerned, but our team, the Burning Droogs, we kicked ass. We kicked ass.
Well, you assembled a really great team.
Yes. Echo Base Network sends a super chat and says, "We love you guys, and you are part of the Echo Base Network as well." Well, I would like to think so, because, by the way, I love your underneath your logo. For those of you who don't know what the Echo Base Network is or what Echo Base is, shame on you. Shame on you. Yes, I think that. My friend Greg Smith, who's a moderator on my channel, he built an Imperial probe droid, just so you know. He calls her Priscilla, Queen of the Glacier. So thank you for that. So ultimately, let's go back to our movie. And if you haven't known what this is, it's Videodrome. Directed by David Cronenberg, his 6th feature film. Now, ultimately, what are your wrap-up thoughts? It's your first show. It's your show. ELYSAVIEWS. ELYSAVIEWS.
Great name.
Great name. This is ELYSAVIEWS. This is going to be this new show. We'll see if people like this. I don't know. Maybe no one will watch it, but we've got a decent amount of you here. We love having you.
Let us know if you like this.
Yeah, tell us what you want.
If you hate it, we won't do it anymore.
I mean, she's only been on the Comic-Con show and this show, but I figured why not? I mean, I think whining about movies.
Yes,
Cheers
whining
to that.
about movies.
Salud.
It's all about the wine.
Gilbert, you're not eating anything, are you? So, ultimately, why would you, in summation, what would you tell somebody about Videodrome? What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you like classic films, older films, and you like strange sci-fi, horror, watch it. Otherwise, you might not like it.
Well, I mean, I think it's compelling. It's a little dated because obviously the video technology is ancient. So,
well, yeah, but you have to take that into context, like when you're watching it, and if you do that, you might kind of enjoy it.
Now, I'm going to tell people. I worked for one of the producers of Videodrome, Pierre David, and the Image organization. I was a reader for his company. A reader means I read screenplays for his company. And when I was there, I was reading things like Scanner Cop. And one of the things that I had pitched was, and this is probably in the mid-90s when I was working for Pierre David, and he had produced a number of Cronenberg's movies with his partner, Victor Solnicki. And I had suggested back in the 90s that you could do an internet remake of Videodrome, or Videodrome 2, The New Flesh, or something, and they never went for it. But I still think that Videodrome somebody should either remake it or do a sequel about the internet.
Oh, that would be cool.
Would that be cool?
Yeah.
By the way, Robert Benham sent in a super chat and says, "Love the new show, Rob and Elizabeth. Keep it up."
Awesome.
So cheers to Robert.
What should we watch next?
No, you can't.
Oh.
No, they don't get to pick.
Sorry.
You guys don't get to pick.
Rob gets to pick.
I get to pick. I'm the curator of this channel.
Sorry, don't give suggestions, please.
Oh, hey, Dieter Bastian. Remember Dieter? He sent the video in?
Yes.
Hey, Rob. It's shiny.
It's shiny.
Yeah, you like that video.
Yeah.
Dieter's awesome. Dieter Bastian is from Deutschland. By the way, what country is putting out Cronenberg's Crash before any other country? Deutschland. That's right. And I have pre-ordered that shit on Amazon. Deutschland. Yes. So Dieter Bastian is an old school watcher. He's one of my core audience members, and Dieter's great. Dieter says, "Don't be too mad at Elizabeth, or don't be too mad, Elizabeth, about Rob buying multiple versions of a movie because this behavior unfortunately cannot be cured.
Yeah.
I have the same symptoms."
No, it's true. I don't think it can be cured. So I mean, I tease him and I poke him about it, but honestly, like, he's gonna do it.
Yeah, in the middle of the night, like 4 a.m. Why do you buy multiple copies of?
Yeah.
Why
wake you up. Why?
Four copies of Gladiator. Why do you have that? Although she did allow me to hang a Polish To Live and Die in L.A. movie poster in our bedroom.
That's true.
It is
true. We have a lot of movie posters in our bedroom.
We do. Well, good ones. Above our bed, we have Dracula is Risen from the Grave and Belle de Jour.
Yeah, it actually looks pretty cool.
It looks pretty cool. See? Come on. Aw.
But we also have an Amelie poster in our bedroom.
Japanese Amelie poster.
Yeah, it's pretty cool too.
Hang on. We're Robert Meyer Burnett tipped $1. Yes, I will watch Sound of Music and I will like it. That's very funny.
Why did you do that?
I didn't. Somebody said that. I didn't. Did I did it? Somebody didn't say my name.
Good job. I'm gonna hold that to. I'm gonna hold you to that.
So, Garen Gillum sent in a tip and says, "Rob reignited my interest in physical media, plastic models, and most recently in 6-scale figures. I now have multiple versions of several movies. My wife has a beef with Rob because of this."
Oh shit!
By the way, it is tons of fun watching you guys drink and talk. Well, that's good. Well, cheers to that. Here's to you, Garen.
Just so you know, I haven't eaten anything all day, so yeah, this is getting to me.
Well, don't I always tell you that alcohol's food? This is grapes.
That's true. It's full of calories.
Well, it's food you can live off. You can live off beer. Adam Jimenez sent us a super chat and said, I just got here and I see Videodrome talk. I love this. Well, Adam, since we're kind of away from Videodrome, let's get back to Videodrome.
Yes.
At the end of the movie, well, should we spoil it? I mean, look, if you haven't seen Videodrome.
Oh, come on, it's so old. Like, if you haven't seen it.
When Max Wren blows his head off with his handgun, and he says, "Long live the new flesh." Do you think that Max Wren really killed himself? Do you think was that a hallucination, or did he really blow his head off?
I think he becomes like his girlfriend. He becomes like this video person.
Well, what does that mean? Like he's still a real flesh and blood person?
No, he's a video.
Well, no. Okay, so he's in a boat.
He goes. Nikki keeps saying, "Come to Nikki, come to Nikki."
Yeah, but that's because that wasn't. Okay. Well, what does that mean?
But
what do you
she's
think?
also dead, physically.
But he's hallucinating her, so she's not. Do you think they join each other in the video afterlife?
Totally.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to. I won't.
What are your thoughts?
What? This is not my show. This is ELYSAVIEWS.
Yeah, but I want to know your thoughts.
My thoughts about the end of the movie, Long Live the New Flesh, I don't believe that James Woods actually kills himself at the end of the movie. I do think that what happens is his brain, that's all a hallucination. But whatever is going on, I think the Videodrome signal is real. I don't think it's all, I think there's a real thing, and that I think what happens with his mind is whatever the tumor that's been growing in his brain, I think that is the transition point where his perception of reality irrevocably changes into whatever it is that is. We don't know what that is yet. But I don't think he actually kills himself in the movie. At least that's my reading of the film. That his mind, the tumor is real. Like Brian Oblivion, he died. But Max Wren transcends that and becomes something else.
Interesting. I have to think about that.
Sadu's Screening Room sent in a super chat and said, Lamau. Imagine the obesity rates if alcohol was food. Dude.
Yeah, totally, right?
I think they would go down. I mean, wine speeds you up.
Well,
look at the obesity rates already.
Yeah, but except people drink this with food. We're just drinking this without food.
Whining about movies. Claude Hibbert sends in another super chat and says, whining about movies should review The Sound of Music or Amelie.
Yes! Both!
Now since you brought up Amelie, tell the folks out there where I took you.
Oh, okay, so the director...
Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
Yes, so there was a screening of Amelie. It was just last year. Mm-hmm. Because it was the 20th anniversary? 20th?
Yes.
Okay. So,
well, it wasn't the 20th anniversary, but it was something. It was close. I think the 20th anniversary is next year. The 20.
Oh, so why the screening?
I don't know. It's just he was there. I think they were showing his movies.
Anyway, so
it was at the American Cinematheque.
Yeah, we went to the screening, and he was there, and he had a talk afterwards, and.
And what did I make you? What did we do before the screening?
Okay, so before the screening, we went to your poster place.
Okay, there's a woman in L.A. Her name is Debbie, and she has a gallery called L'Imagerie. I imagine. The Imagination Gallery, the Imagine Gallery. She can get any movie poster. She has a lot of what I call big paper, and I was convinced that she would have an original French Amélie poster.
But not only does she have posters, she has actual art.
Yeah.
So, she has a pretty amazing gallery there.
Back in the mid-aughts, when I was much wealthier, I did spend about $100,000 buying posters. I sold them all. But I knew that she would have a Amélie poster. Yeah. Did I not?
Yeah.
The original French. It's a huge poster. And?
Yeah, so we bought this ginormous poster.
It's ginormous.
Which I wish that we had gotten a smaller one, because now it's like we don't know where to hang this.
We're going to frame it, put it in our room.
So anyway, everyone was like crowding him and trying to get signatures, but they all had like their Blu-ray or their DVDs that they wanted him to sign the cover.
And homegirl here,
and
what did you say?
I'm pretty tall, so I'm like up to the front, and I have my poster, like this giant poster.
But what did you bust out?
So in French, I asked him, "Will you please sign this?"
What say it in French?
Oh, come on, man.
No,
You're going to put me on the spot.
No, it's not like we're talking. It's not like you're speaking in French or something. You speak French fluently. Your mom's French.
I know, but
well, what did you ask him in French?
Well, I asked him to sign my poster.
How did you ask him?
I asked him in French.
Yeah, how did you say it in French?
Oh, come on, dude.
What do you mean, come on, just say it in French.
I asked him in French to sign.
You speak to your mom in French. Why can't you just say it in French? Just say it. What did you ask him?
Well, I
Just say
asked him to sign.
Oh my God! I can't believe you talk French. Why would you not speak French? Just speak French for them. They're not going to believe you speak French. Just say it. Go. What did you say in French?
You're putting me on the spot.
It's not putting you on the spot. Tell how you said sign. I don't understand. You speak French fluently. I'm basically asking you to repeat after me. Why don't you tell them what you said? Speak French. Dance, monkey, dance.
Oh,
no, come on, speak
man.
French. Why can't you speak?
Man.
Why wouldn't you not speak in French? I don't get it.
Well, I'm not quite ready for that. I've had a lot of wine, and
you speak French fluently.
Yeah.
Okay, well, pretend I'm your mom, and speak to me in French. I'm
Okay,
Josiane.
anyway,
just say it in French. Say something in French. Anything. I don't understand why you won't talk in French. Why won't you talk? Just say one thing.
You're putting me on the spot.
But how is that putting you on the spot? You actually speak that language. You're embarrassing me. Just say anything in French.
I'm embarrassing you.
Yeah, speak it. Your people are going to be like, oh, you didn't really... Like, what did you actually say?
So I asked him in French to sign my poster.
How did you ask him in French? Like, I don't understand why you can't speak... Why can't you just say, like...
So my French nickname is Babette.
Okay, there you go.
And Babette is a nickname for the name Elizabeth. And my family calls me Babette. So I asked him in French to sign the poster to
And how did you ask him in French?
Oh my God, you're not going to let this
go.
go.
No, just say it. It's just like 2 seconds. And like, I don't understand.
So I asked him.
It was amazing because she brought, there's all this crowd around him. And as soon as you spoke French, he was like, oh, well, I'll talk to you. And then she signed the poster.
He did. He was like, oh.
Yeah, but what did you say to him?
I just asked him in French to sign the poster to me.
I can't believe you wouldn't talk in French.
To Babette in French. And he was impressed, I have to say.
I can't believe you just won't. Why won't you talk in French?
Maybe another episode at the beginning when I'm not so.
When you're not so having wine? Like what? You can't, like, I'm having wine too, but I can't, like, I speak English and I'm like, Mr. Genet, would you please sign my poster? You can't say that?
No.
Oh my God.
Anyway, it was amazing. He signed the poster. We have this ginormous Amelie poster.
Signed by Jean-Pierre Genet.
Yeah, that I don't know where to hang because it's so big. Hey.
Tallulah's been pretty good. And Mukbang Reviews sends in a super chat and says, the live chat appreciates the new show. Can you give a rating for the film? If you gave a rating, like, okay, how many glasses of wine? How many glasses of wine is Videodrome on a scale of let's say how many glasses does a bottle have? 4?
Yeah, I would say 4.
Okay, let's say this is what we're doing. We're christening the scale on ELYSAVIEWS. So this bewitched bottle of wine on a scale of 1 to 4 glasses of wine, what would you give Videodrome? 4 being the best, 1 being the least.
So hard because I have to say I didn't love it at first, but then it changed. But then it was also very confusing. It didn't make sense. But then I also really liked it.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I would say 3.5.
3.5 glasses of
Is that
wine.
A lot?
3.5. David Cronenberg's 6th feature film, Videodrome, from 1983, according to ELYSAVIEWS, the Elizabeth's View, the ELYSAVIEW, as far as Videodrome is concerned, is 3.5 glasses of wine out of 4.
Well, that's kind of high.
Well, it is kind of high. I'm surprised. 3.5 out of 4.
Because in the end, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the weird, surrealist.
Yeah, I mean, so
sci-fi.
would you like to reassess, perhaps?
But at the beginning, honestly, I was really pissed off.
Right. You elicited an emotional response from you.
So maybe 2.5 would be
Okay, I think that's fair.
appropriate.
All right, so let's reassess. The judges now say for David Cronenberg's sixth feature film, Videodrome from 1983, ELYSAVIEWS gives it how many?
2.5.
2.5 glasses of wine. Can you say that in French? Just say it. It's part of your show.
How about...
Well, I don't understand why you're not. I listen to you speak French all the time.
How about we do like Davey 504 and if you subscribe, if we reach how many
people are already. This is already my channel.
Then I will speak French.
Okay, fine. If the Burnettwork gets 25,000 subscribers and
that's close. It should be higher than that.
No, but that's because
you're almost to 25,000 subscribers.
Well, okay, but you can speak French like since you were a kid.
Let's say
it's not a big reveal. Okay, fine.
It is a huge reveal.
On our first... Okay, fine. Let's say 50,000 subscribers. That'll take another year.
We don't have to go that high. Let's say 30,000 subscribers, and I will speak French.
What would be really interesting is at 30,000 subscribers, if the Burnettwork gets 30,000 subscribers, we'll do a show where she only speaks French.
Oh, no. That's too much.
Why is it too much? You speak fluent French.
I can't do a whole show in French.
Well, I'll be speaking English. Well, okay, anyway.
Okay,
I don't understand why you can't
speak French at 30,000 subscribers. Let's just say that.
You know, I did say I would show people my wall of Hot Toys figures at 20,000.
And you never did.
I haven't done it yet,
because there is no wall
yet
of Hot Toys.
I mean, there's a lot of Hot Toys. They're just we haven't. There's stuff that has to move around. If you notice, by the way, the Robservations set has changed since this afternoon. I am now enveloped. I have moved things around. There are things happening in here all the time.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I like it. it.
There's more room in here. I like the.
Although I really want to see the Hot Toys wall.
Well, I want to see the Hot Toys wall. There is a wall. If you look all up there, there's a lot of.
No. You need to have a whole wall.
I know. What do you think about my Hot Toys?
I love the Hot Toys, but what upsets me is that they're in boxes and they're not being displayed and people are not seeing them.
Well, we have them. There's some are displayed.
Half of them are in boxes.
Oh, more than half.
Yeah, that's
I would like to have them out. You know, it would be nice. We got to do that. So.
Yeah.
Well, listen. I don't want this to degenerate into something. Now that you've done your first episode of ELYSAVIEWS, whining about movies, if you like what you see here, please give it a like. This is a pilot. So we don't know where this is gonna go. Please comment favorably or subscribe or hit like. Or as Davey504 says, slap like now. And we're going to probably do these 3 days a week. That would be the plan. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now, what's interesting is you are a student at the Pasadena's prestigious Arts Center College of Design, but you can't... What happened there?
Yeah, so my school has basically shut down, and we are going to be doing classes online. So that'll be interesting. Doing art classes online.
Classes online.
Yeah.
So you'll be here. So at least for the next couple weeks, we'll do these. Oh, Seduce Screening Room sent in a super chat and said, at 30,000 subscribers, let her speak French and you speak Klingon.
That would be awesome.
Oh, that's pretty funny that you said. Hang on. Hold on. Wait. Keep talking.
Me?
Just so you know, I'm not some dilettante. I'm not somebody that, maybe I will speak some Klingon.
That would be awesome.
Mark Okrand, this is my Klingon. It's really interesting. I have lots of, I'm also going to start doing a new show, these short 10-minute videos called the Robservations, off the shelf in the Robservations, where I'm just going to riff on something I have. How much stuff do I have here?
Oh my God. You guys have no idea. This is 1/16 of what he has. Not even. There's just so much stuff in here. You have no idea how much stuff he has. And what frustrates me is that he needs to be sharing all of this stuff.
Sister Harrow in the chat says, "Can you drink tequila next time?"
Oh, tequila sounds good.
It does sound good. It does sound good. Yeah, so no, there's a lot of stuff in here. I could take stuff off the shelf. I'm going to call it off the shelf, whether it's action figures, model kits, books, comics, I mean, movies. There's a lot of stuff in here.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. A lot of stuff in boxes.
Well, you got to keep in good shape, you know.
He could open up a museum.
No, there's a lot of people that have a lot more stuff than I do. Like, you know, I always talk about Justin's Collection. One of my favorite YouTube channels is Justin's Collection. It's good.
Oh, is he the figure?
Yeah, figure.
The
Look at
figure.
this new figure.
Look at this figure.
She can actually quote YouTubers that I watch, like Justin's Collection. She loves figure. Look at this. Look at this new figure.
Yeah.
By the way, I recommend anybody who's interested in hot toys subscribe to Justin's channel, Justin's Collection. I love everything he does. It's great. Oh,
it's
Sam.
worth just hearing his accent.
Oh yeah, Sam O'Neill sent in a super chat and said, "I don't know if you've answered my Stream Elements message yet. I just tuned in, but screw it, I'm drinking tonight. Let's go!" Hashtag drinks for Rob. Sam, we did answer your question. You were the first. You had already sent in this chat. And we talked about it for a long time, whether or not
we kind of disagreed. Like, I was telling you to not risk it, and he was telling you to just
I said, Sam O'Neill, you should drink.
And basically bathe in whiskey.
Yeah, I said what you got to do is get some whiskey and some beer, but maybe get a little vodka that you can just dip your fingers in and keep doing like this instead of Purell. Just, get some. By the way, you're in Brisbane. I mean, Brisbane, I haven't been to Brisbane. I've been to Tamworth, Australia. So I'm glad. Oh, wait, Sister Harrow sent in a super chat saying contribution to the next wine bottle.
Yay!
I know. I'm a little
wine.
I'm a little out of wine.
Yeah. This is really good wine.
This is a fantastic drop.
And we can't get $50 bottle wine.
Well, look, we're not going to do that. We're not going to buy. We were at the grocery store. It was like the fall of Saigon at the grocery store. And I picked this. It's Bewitched, obviously. This is a great Pinot Noir.
It's very good.
It's very good. See, look, you had a little bit more wine. You're a little bit more loose now. It's good. We got more people watching. Sister Harrow sent a super chat to buy more wine.
Totally.
Which is fantastic. I've been rearranging the Robservatory. It'll be great.
Yeah.
So Sam O'Neill, answering questions, which is all good. So ultimately, as we bring this first episode, our pilot episode.
Are you sure you got all the super chats? Because you often miss.
No, I got all the super chats.
Wait, how do you?
Oh, see, look at that.
How do you look at all of them?
The super chat. No, we got all the super chats.
Let's make sure.
We did.
Okay.
We got all the super chats. I love that somebody said.
I
love that Robert Meyer. Oh, we just got another super chat. Another super chat came in. Oh, Richard, thank you for that. Richard Ganther sent in a nice super chat and said, "Coming in late, my God, I love this. Thank you." Well, okay, wait a minute. Can you do me a favor?
What?
Okay, in see that cabinet over there?
Yeah.
Can you open that cabinet?
What's in there?
Just go up there and since you love this, we'll just keep going. Just slide. No, other way. Slide it. No, other way. Slide. Okay, grab that container. Grab that can that's right there. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So sit down. We've got Santa Monica Brewworks Beach Brewed. So, as you can see, I'm out of my wine.
Wait, what is that?
It's beer.
I don't drink beer.
You should drink beer.
No, I don't drink beer.
Why not?
I don't like it.
You don't like beer?
I don't like beer.
You want to try this?
Not really.
It's not an IPA.
Well, I'm not quite done with my wine.
Okay, well, since Richard Ganther is here and sent in a super chat and said, "Coming in late, my God, I love this. Thank you." Well, Richard, since you came in late, here's to you, sir. Here's to you. Cheers to that. I wonder. Cass Graphics sent in a super chat and said, "Donation to help you get IKEA shelves to display your hot toys."
That's the problem.
Okay.
He has glass shelves for his hot toys, but he doesn't like them, which I think they're perfectly fine.
Look, you got to see him. Here's what I want to do. I appreciate, by the way, thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
I do want to get, I have probably, if you go to, there's a lot of people on the web that have hot toys more than I do. But I have a lot of older hot toys that people don't have. Like one of the things, if you watch Gary Beekler, Nerdrotic, look in his background. You know what Gary Beekler has that a lot of people probably don't know how deep Gary Beekler's action figure collection goes. But Gary Beekler has a Hot Toys Jor-El, a Marlon Brando as Jor-El. Now,
where are his Hot Toys? Because all I see are
nope. You gotta look. I mean, people don't know. Gary Beekler's collection, Nerdrotic's collection, goes deep, and you gotta love what he's got. He's got a Hot Toys Jor-El. They only released a Marlon Brando as Jor-El with Superman Returns, and it was not released in the United States. And you know how much Gary paid for that figure?
Well, how would you know?
Because I asked him.
Oh.
I asked Gary Beekler. I said, Gary, you have a Hot Toys Jor-El figure. I can see it behind you. He told me he paid $600 for it. I did not, because I got it when it first came out because I worked on Superman Returns.
So you have it.
Yeah, it's in the glass case.
Right, the case that I keep trying to get you to get in.
Yeah,
here.
I mean he's displayed with his arms behind his back. It's awesome. So, Alexander Wilson. Hello, Alexander Wilson. How are you, sir? It's past my bedtime. Shout out from the East Coast. Alexander Wilson is a longtime supporter of the Post-Geek Singularity. Yeah. He's a member and a supporter of the Burnettwork. And I have to say that Alexander Wilson has been here since I started this channel, pretty much. Alexander Wilson is a very thoughtful, a very soulful, and he always asks, everything he sends in when he asks questions is very, it's very compelling. And I want to thank you, Alexander, for being here for this new show.
Coast?
Where on the East Coast are you, sir? I don't know.
I grew up in Cleveland. I know that's not exactly the East Coast,
Wait,
but...
Where are you on the East Coast? I grew up in Cleveland. How much wine have you had?
It's like closer to the East Coast than it is to here.
Yeah, but it's not the East Coast. You're like, he says...
but then I lived in Philadelphia.
Okay, Philly. My uncle used to be editor of the Philadelphia Inquirer.
My youngest daughter was born in Philly. Sophie was born in Philadelphia.
Adam Jimenez, or is it Jimenez? Sends in a super chat and says, all I ever wanted, Burnettwork After Dark is all I ever wanted. You know what?
Yes.
I used to do Ripped with Rob, but you made me stop.
I didn't make you stop. You chose to stop.
No, but you expressed you didn't like...
Well, I just didn't want you to do it too often because it's really hard on the body. Like,
are you having fun?
All the time. I'm having a lot of fun.
Are you having fun? So if we did this 3 nights a week, people seem to like it. People seem to like it.
Yeah.
Darth Poncho sends in a tip and said, "Hey Rob, how can I believe anything you say now? Laugh out loud." I think I'm pretty upfront about what goes on in this show.
Uh-oh, did I say something to make people doubt
I don't know.
you?
Should they doubt me?
Did I say
You got to tell them about the veracity of what I say. Don't you think that people should believe?
Yeah, no. Rob is very knowledgeable, and whatever he says is probably right.
Well, not necessarily. It doesn't have to be right, but at least I do try and I speak the truth. I don't bamboozle people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm not here to bamboozle or when I say things that I've done, I've actually done them. I mean, I'm not, right?
Oh, yeah, you don't lie about what you've done.
No.
For sure.
And I try and give everybody else credit.
And your depth of knowledge is pretty deep, so...
My depth of knowledge is pretty deep.
Pretty deep.
Oh, Alexander Wilson is in D.C., which is way better than Philly. Do you know what they have in D.C.?
I love D.C., by the way.
I do, too.
Yeah. I honestly, I was not... Philly was not my favorite place to live, but... if I'd lived actually in the city, I probably would have loved it more. I kind of lived in the suburbs. So.
Okay, this is distressing. Just Plain Steve sends in a super chat and says, I just got charged the first of 4 payments. See, Elizabeth doesn't understand the payments for the Hot Toys. I just got charged the first of 4 payments for my Hot Toys Endgame cap. What is your next incoming Hot Toy? Well,
what is your next incoming Hot Toy?
Okay, I pre-ordered.
Let's talk about that.
I pre-ordered the Endgame cap, but I haven't been charged for it as far as I know. But I just realized now that you told me, I don't think I put cap on payment plan, which means I don't know.
Which means you lost some money.
No, I haven't losing money. My end game, the next incoming hot toy that I have that I've been paying off slowly but surely, to be honest, the only one that I've been paying off, the only one left, is the quarter scale Darth Vader. That's it. The quarter scale Darth Vader. That's it. That's the only one I have on that I've been paying off. Cast Graphics sent in a super chat and said, I live in the International District in Seattle. I'm originally from Philly. Downtown Seattle is a ghost town. I'm still going to the cinema tonight. Well, Cast Graphics, as you might know, I am from Seattle. I grew up on Mercer Island. And every December 25th, we celebrated Jewish Movie Day. And we went to the International District and had Chinese food after seeing movies. And I would say some of the movies that I was able to see... Did I say Jewish Movie Day?
You did.
Okay. December 25th is Jewish Movie Day. And there were 2 times in my life where Jewish Movie Day coincided Yentl, which I refused to go see. My parents, I was overrided.
I saw Yentl.
Normally I would pick the movies. Yentl, I was like, no way. I'm going skiing. I went to Crystal Mountain and I went skiing on Christmas. I did not go. It was the only Jewish Movie Day I missed. And then the other Jewish Movie Day that we had that was amazing was in 93, Jewish Movie Day 1993, Schindler's List. Every Jew in Seattle was there, and I have to say that if you go to the Temple D. Hirsch Sinai in Seattle, the Schoenfeld Gardner Foundation is the synagogue that my grandfather's foundation built.
Very cool.
Darth Poncho says, because you said she speaks French, I was just kidding around. Oh, love the show. Oh, yeah, he's saying that do you really... Would you just say something in French?
30,000 subscribers!
No, anything. Oh, see? Oh, man. Oh, come on, man.
I will speak French. 30,000.
Hapkido Locke, who's here, sends in a tip and says, cheers, you two. Great couple, and I love the premise. Oh. So people are loving your show. Okay. So are you going to do more of these?
Good. Yeah, if you guys like it, then we're going to do more.
Look who is here, by the way. Victory Unlimited Show. Victory Unlimited Show is here. For those of you who don't know, maybe this is your first time watching anything I've ever done. Victory Unlimited Show is somebody that has supported this channel, and I love the Victory Unlimited Show. And whenever I see that, I think I should be talking like I'm in a newsletter or a newsreel from World War II. Like news on the march. Victory Unlimited Show is here and sends in a super chat and says, looks like even the internet is better with wine.
Yes.
Who knew? Have a glass on me. Carry on, laugh out loud.
Thank
well,
you.
Victory, if you just got here, we've been drinking Bewitched.
So
this
good.
fine drop, $25 off. We're not going to do that all the time.
No, we can't afford it.
We can't afford it. Well, Victory Unlimited Show sent it.
Yes, thank you.
That, which is good. So when you back to the premise of the show, I don't feel like we've wrapped it up. We were going to end this show, but you guys are keeping us here, which is good. What mukbang reviews. Thanks for going overtime. Speak French if you watch as The Sound of Music. Well, she'll speak French to me. I hear it all the time. I mean, and by the way,
I'll speak French to him even if he doesn't understand.
I love her mom, Josiane. She's delightful. She's a beautiful woman. And normally she speaks English, but like there's sometimes they'll just like jump into French, and I just think to myself, I'm like, I'm kind of in trouble, or I'm kind of something.
Yeah, sometimes it's about you.
Yeah, sometimes it's about me. Like tell me about that. Like, and you guys do it like right in front of me. They'll be like, well, let me just tell you what's going on. We had this trip, and then bonjour, blah, 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 and then I'm like, wow, right in mid sentence, right in front of me. Like there's no.
Yep.
Like and like how like when you talk to your mom like that, what do you say?
Well, it depends.
Like what? Like give me an example of when
normally it's not about you.
Like when your mom jumps into French. Like what's do you guys have French sayings? Like what would you say to your mom in French?
No, I won't reveal that until 30,000 subscribers.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Slap mic.
Wait, swag props. Oh my god. Okay, do me a favor. Can you hand me? See the book that's right there?
Oh yeah.
Okay, grab that. Just.
I don't want to knock the microphone.
No, it's fine. We'll bring the microphone up. Okay. So, my boy, My boy Cal in Indonesia, swag props on the Etsy store.
Sorry, Gilbert.
So swag props. This has gotten a little dusty. Let me dust this off because I've been moving things around. So my boy swag props, Cal. So I have a fanatical attachment to the movie The Ninth Gate. Roman Polanski's The Ninth Gate, and I don't know why. I just do. Now, I mean, you watched The Ninth Gate.
Yeah, we watched it together.
So Cal, this guy swag props, Cal from Indonesia. He has an Etsy store, and he makes prop books. Now, he has sent me. I started talking about his work. I couldn't believe it. He makes the a beautiful reproduction of the Kingdom of the Nine Gates from the Ninth Gate, which I thought was insane that anybody even made that. And then one of my favorite things in the world is Watchmen. And Cal, swag props, who's sending me a tip. Love the new show. You guys are just adorable. Finally, a show I can watch live during the day where I'm at. He made Rorschach's journal. Now, I got to tell you, he makes the Grail, Henry Jones' Grail Diary from Last Crusade. If you open this up, now...
These books are amazing.
These
As
books,
an artist, I can tell you, like, these
I mean, if you want to give somebody an
amazing.
unusual gift, I mean, he makes... You can't really see... I mean, these things feel real. But if you look in them, I mean, he has all the information. I mean, these are so unbelievable. I mean, he's got pictures. He goes through... They are like the coolest things ever. And he makes a bunch of different ones, and they're so beautifully made and so painstakingly put together. That's who Swag Props is, and I keep his prop books. You know how much I love them.
They're amazing, and the leather covers, like, they're just wow.
I mean, it's Rorschach's journal, and what he did was he made a combination of Rorschach's journal from the movies and the comic book, and it's just brilliant. It's amazing. But what's even more amazing is that a human being, thought about doing this and makes them. So go to Swak Props, and I guess Swak is the South Island. Oh, it's Malaysia. Did I say Indonesia? It's Malaysia, right? Am I getting it wrong? Cal, I'm getting it wrong. I think it's Malaysia. It's Swak is south, right? So it's the South Island. But I mean, it's unbelievable. You've got, he even included like a pencil and the rubber bands. It's just, anyway, I talk about him all the time. Oops, I dropped it again. Sorry,
on
buddy.
Gilbert.
I did. Not the book.
No,
but it's amazing. Garen Gillum sent in a super chat. I've been here from the very beginning, but Rob has never called me a long-time imagination connoisseur. Elizabeth, help me out here. Laugh out loud. Well, Garen Gillum is a long-time imagination connoisseur.
There you go.
Look, first of all, okay. If anybody is new here, we, the Burnettwork, we have the best community on YouTube. The best. And I say that, and I know a lot of people have a good community, but we really do have the best. When I say we have the imagination connoisseurs, and Garen has been around for a long time. I mean, I have moderators now that we're watching. I met Detective Jim Boyers. He was a watcher of the channel, and he sent me a letter that was very touching, and it was amazing. And now he's a moderator, but I've never met Detective Jim. But I feel a kinship to him. But hopefully he'll get, now that we have another chance to go to England to go see Die Another Day, perhaps he will get his passport. But I really believe this community is great, and I wanted to expand it. I think Elizabeth's show, ELYSAVIEWS. So why don't you talk? I mean, rather than let me talk. What do you think of? I mean, Elizabeth, talk about buying me this microphone.
Oh, yeah. So Rob has been on the internet for quite a long time, and several of us have been telling him to have his own show. So finally, last year at Christmas, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy you a microphone, and that's all you really need to, like, start your own show. Because, like, he has so much knowledge. And
Well, you need cameras.
Okay, but that's part of your computer. at least the initial camera. And you have cameras from.
I have cameras, but look at that. Hey, look up there. Hey, look at that widescreen. We're like, well,
yeah, so I got on the microphone, and then he just took off and did his show, and here we are. 300 and how many?
Today was episode 360 of Robservations.
There you go.
And so Garen is an old-time, old-school imagination connoisseur, as much as somebody can be an old-school imagination connoisseur after, 15 months? So, 15 months.
Yeah.
Which is...
You almost have a whole year full of episodes.
Almost a whole year?
Yeah,
15 months isn't a year?
Well, no,
I see what you're saying.
Number-wise. Like
number-wise, yeah.
What are
5 more days. 300. Yeah. Today was 360.
5 more, and it'll be 365.
The circle is now complete.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing.
That's
and of course, by the way, our moderator here, Lewis Yu, was also. I see Lewis is here. I've never met Lewis, even though I told him where to park to go see the floats.
Is he local?
He's local, and he's asked to come there. We should one day Lewis, by the way, Lewis should come here to the Robservatory and moderate live.
Totally.
And I'll put the camera, cool. Lewis, I'll put the camera on you.
Totally.
I'll turn it around. I'll be like, moderator cam, and I'll just, because we can do that.
Yeah.
So
that would be really cool.
Yeah. Lewis should just come in and do it.
I didn't know he was local.
He is local. That's and he brought his family to look at the floats.
Yeah. Every year we're so close to the parade and we never actually go.
We never go.
Sorry.
Richard Ganther sent in a super chat and said, just wanted to reciprocate the cheers. Here's to you and Elizabeth. Put this towards some wine, some beer, or some cookies for Gilbert and Tallulah.
Yes.
What is it? Je suis?
Yes.
Je suis le post-geek. Say that. Oh, you can't say it.
No, 30.
Let me try it. How's my accent? Je suis le post-geek singularity. Is that okay? What do I have to do? How is it? Je suis le.
Yeah, that's good.
Je suis le. Yeah. Je suis le post-geek singularity. So that was good?
Yeah, that'll be okay.
Look, Lewis Yu says, let's do lunch one day.
Yeah, totally.
Well, yeah, we can. So ultimately, now you're a little bit looser. You're a little bit. I know you're a little. Well, are you?
Totally.
Do you feel better now?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying yourself now? It is Friday night. I have been working. I've been in here all night cutting the. What have I been doing? Tell people what I've been doing.
Oh, okay. So, making documentaries for The Hills Run Red.
And what is The Hills Run Red?
The Hills Run Red is a horror film that you produced about 12?
Yes, in 2008, 12 years ago.
Yeah, and it's coming out on Blu-ray with a lot of special features that Rob is working on.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's what I've been doing. So I've been in here a lot. A lot, because I don't just broadcast from here. All of my computer stuff is here, so I do all my editing here, and it was great. Now, tell everybody, since you're here, since we now just start going, where was I broadcasting from for the first year of Robservations?
Out of our laundry room.
It was our laundry room.
Our laundry room. Yeah, but it's a big laundry room, and actually the washer and dryer are behind doors, so it's really kind of just a big room that we turned into an office for Rob. And
kind of. I mean, people would walk through and...
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a room that you have to go through to get to other rooms, so... Yeah.
And now I'm in the garage.
Yeah,
which is a 2-story structure.
2-story structure, 2.5 car garage with all the collectibles.
Everything's in here.
It's all in here.
All of it.
All of it.
And I've slowly it's like an excavation project.
Yeah.
Half of it's, but it's getting pretty interesting in here though.
It's going to get a lot more.
What do you think though? What do you think about how it's looking here?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's amazing.
It's great, right?
Yeah.
The
Robservatory. It's only
halfway
done, but there's so many collectibles. I just can't wait for him to put up the Hot Toys wall. I mean, there's so many Hot Toys in boxes. It's just frustrating because I'm like, these need to be seen.
I know. Do you have a favorite hot toy? There's no wrong answer.
I don't know. There's so many I like. I'd have to think about that.
There's
But
ones you
why
don't even
isn't
know I have.
Why isn't there an Amelie Hot Toy?
There is not an Amelie hot toy. You know what? That's really interesting. Maybe somebody has made an Amelie Poulain hot figure. I don't know. I mean, they should. That's a good
They
idea.
should make an Amelie Hot Toy.
It's a good idea. Well, listen, we should probably bring this chat to an end. This is supposed to be an hour-long show, you guys.
Wait, how long have we been going?
We've been going for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yes.
An hour and 45 minutes. Somebody says switch the camera. All right, I'll switch the camera. Look at that. What do you think about this technology?
Yeah, pretty cool.
How about that? You like that better? Rob's wife is named Yelena. This is Elizabeth, his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, I did have a wife. I was married. I was divorced in 2007. So
We've both been married.
yeah.
Before.
By the way, we dated. We lived in sin because she was married for a long time before she was divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should I not broach that subject? Well.
Sometimes these things take a long time.
By the way, Richard Ganther says, I realize my French was not grammatically correct. Apologies. But hey, I got someone to attempt to speak French on the episode. Dude,
30,000 subscribers.
I directed 5 episodes of a show called Femme Fatales. That was grammatically incorrect. I worked on a show where the actual title was wrong. It should have been Femmes Fatale, right?
Yes.
Femmes Fatale. But instead, no, it was called Femme Fatales. And I directed 5 episodes of a show. Oh, Français. Vous estes très belle, mama, girls and boys. Oh, that's girls and boys. He only knew her for a little while, but he had grown accustomed to girl. Well, anyway. This is an actual, I bought this tambourine at a Prince show at the Staples Center. My tambourine! Yeah, if you know that. So, anyway, yes. He only knew, what is, bonsoir? Bonsoir?
Good evening.
Good evening, bonsoir. You won't say it, though.
Nope. 30,000 subscribers.
Slap like now, reveal at 30,000. I mean, by the way, Davey504 is revealing his childhood at 7 million subs. It's amazing. If you speak French at 30,000 subs, all right, I'll say that.
There you go.
The Richard said, I was married in 2007. Yes, so anyway, I'm sure Marriage Story was a fun watch. We did not watch it together.
No, I watched it without Rob,
Yeah.
and whew, boy, did that hit home.
Yeah, well, you were married for 17 years, right?
17 years.
17 years.
Yeah.
And it took you 5 years to get divorced?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Married for 17 years, the divorce took 5 years.
Yeah, it did.
Wow. That's half a decade. Wow. Well, anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you think we should end this chat? I think we should probably end this chat. We don't want to overstay our welcome. I think this has become more interesting as it's gone along. First of all, I want to thank everybody. Paul Gilmore says, I thought Rob was your hot toy.
Oh, yes.
You know, I am fully articulated. Anyway, we're going to end this chat. We're going to end the first episode of Whining About Movies. ELYSAVIEWS. Robservations teamed up with ELYSAVIEWS. How do you feel about, why don't you tell everybody, is this your show? You've been on the show once before, San Diego.
Yeah, that was fun.
How ELYSAVIEWS, are you down with this? You going to do more?
Yeah, this is super fun.
Super fun.
Super fun.
And you guys, you'll have to tell us whether we should do this more.
Let us know.
Let us know. I mean, all those things. All right, I'm going to bring this chat to an end. This show, the first episode, this is actually the pilot episode of Whining About Movies. And remember, I just want to end our... we got to say that, remember, this episode was about David Cronenberg's 6th feature film, 1983's Videodrome. This is the Criterion Blu-ray. I highly recommend it. And we drank this bottle of bewitched wine from the Russian River Valley.
Yep.
I want to give I want to explain. We were not paid to do this. We made this up on the spot. I showed Elizabeth this movie last night after I thought about it for about 27 seconds. And I'm like, ooh, let's watch this. So this was not something that anybody paid us for. This is not an advertisement in any way, shape, or form. This was just something we wanted to talk about tonight. And hopefully, if you guys like these shows and we get a good response, we will be doing these on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights at 8 p.m.
Yep.
And
looks like you have one more super chat.
There is a super chat. I have not. Garen Gillum says, thanks for that, Rob. Now I can build that Kubrick-class USS Burnett for you. Joking. I was going to do it anyway. Well, thank you, Garen. I really appreciate that. So, as always, I would like to say, first of all, thank you to the Burnettwork moderating staff, the Honorable Mayor Mike Bodden, of course, Detective Jim Boyers, Greg Smith, Lewis Yu, who's been here tonight. Thank you, Lewis. And, of course, Jordy Lyons, who was also here earlier. I want to thank everybody that supports the channel. Please, if you like this, hit like, hit subscribe. Please comment. And, you know what? I just want to be clear. I am not going to take any suggestions of movies I should show Elizabeth because she'll figure it out. So if you put, like, you should show Elizabeth this movie, then she'll know. The whole point is I want her to see movies that she's never seen before. And it also helps me dive into I have to think, like, what do you guys like? And that's how I want to do it. And I want to give a shout out to The Richard, who is our moderator on the Post-Geek Singularity Facebook page. All of you should run over there if you haven't already. I really like I participate in the Post-Geek Singularity Facebook page, but I'm not the administrator. The Richard does a great job. There's a lot of great conversations going. I love what people post. So if you go to Facebook, the Post-Geek Singularity, and Elizabeth, where can people find you on social media?
Okay, so my Instagram is egbell, B-E-L-L-E. Facebook, I'm Elizabeth Bell, B-E-L-L-E. Twitter is, what is it? Elizabeth Bell.
Elizabeth Bell.
Spelled E-L-Y-S-A-B-E-T-H. B-E-L-L-E.
All right, and for me, you can follow me on Instagram at Robert Meyer Burnett, or you can find me on Twitter at BurnettRM, or you can obviously find me here on YouTube. And you can always send letters. By the way, I was told by Mike Bodden today that there are about 30 letters that had been, there was a snafu about, so there are 30 letters I'm behind on that I'm probably going to try and get through all tomorrow on Robservations. So if you sent me a letter recently and I haven't read it, that was the reason why. And I'll be back tomorrow at noon. We've got a little new configuration for the Robservatory here, which I really like. And, of course, I really do like the wide frame. Things are changing, and we will get the Hot Toys wall, won't we?
Better.
I know, right? Everybody wants to see the Hot Toys wall,
Yeah,
and
think
they
that
will.
People need to see the Hot Toys.
They need to see the Hot Toys wall.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. I want to thank everybody for their kind words and generous support on Twitter, on Facebook, on all kinds of social media. And I hope you all like this first episode of... Well, we're whining. We're whining. We're whining about movies. And we're going to continue to whine about movies. And now that Elizabeth is a little bit loosened up, it's good, right? You drank your courage. It's better now.
Totally.
Whining about movies. ELYSAVIEWS, Robservations, and ELYSAVIEWS. I want to thank you all for being here. And I want to say that, remember, every person you meet, what do they have?
They have a story to tell.
That what?
That you have to hear.
Right. All you have to do
is listen.
And hopefully... ELYSAVIEWS will bring you even more stories if I can get her to speak French.
30,000 subscribers.
30,000 subscribers, she'll speak French. What? What is that? I listen to it all the time, and I don't even know what it means. But I want to thank you all for being here. And as always, I will just tell you to have a better day. See you tomorrow.